5 great superhero doppelgangers. Qualifying for the role of the superhero doppelganger requires more than just having the same powers as another character, and more than just a similar costume design. Superhero doppelgangers or twins, if you prefer, the characters who have so many powers, background stories, visual similarities, and general motifs in common that it's almost like one character has been split in two, and both halves of him happen to coexist within parallel universes. Need some evidence? Let's get started. 5. Deadpool and Deathstroke. What makes them twins? Come on, one's named Slade Wilson, and the other Wade Wilson. Both highly skilled assassins with awfully similar uniforms. Who they are. Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke, is a former US soldier turned mercenary, originally introduced as the arch nemesis of the Teen Titans, and has since come to be a prevalent figure across the DC universe. Deadpool. Now remember, that Slade Wilson began as a pretty straightforward New Mutants villain, and has since evolved into a bizarre, lunatic anti-hero with a healing factor, a wacky sense of humor, and a penchant for breaking the fourth wall. Right now, you probably know Deadpool best outside of his comics, of course, from the wide variety of memes as well as the upcoming ultra-violent, extremely vulgar Ryan Reynolds movie due out next year. Who came first? Deathstroke, obviously. Though Deadpool as first conceived was a pretty obvious spoof/ripoff, Marvel deserves props for reworking him into the fourth wall breaking, laugh out loud anti-hero that he's now become, which, ironically, has turned him into one of the most unique characters in comics. 4. Killer Croc and the Lizard. What makes them twins? Scholarly reptile men who have lived in the sewers and have, on occasion, both been depicted as eating people. Who they are. Killer Croc is Wayland Jones, a young boy born with an unfortunate skin condition that resembles scales, who went on to become a mob boss in Gotham City and thus a frequent foe of Batman. The Lizard is the painful result of experiments performed by family man Dr. Kurt Connors, who, while attempting to regrow his lost limb, accidentally transforms himself into a vicious reptilian beast. Who came first? The Lizard came first, by nearly 2 decades. The annoying thing about this, however, is that Croc, as originally conceived as well as the way he was portrayed in the classic Batman, the animated series, was not in any way a lizard clone, and it's only subsequent creators who have transformed him into one. The original Killer Croc, who still appears now and again, was simply a disturbed man with a deformity, who had regular human proportions. Unfortunately, later writers and artists have since exaggerated Wayland's deformities to the point of him having a crocodile-like head, a long tail, and so on, thereby making Croc himself more of a cartoon and less of an interesting character. The good news is that the upcoming film Suicide Squad, which will be Croc's first big screen appearance, looks to be taking its inspiration more from the original depiction. 3. Ant-Man and the Atom. What makes them twins? 2 scientists whose primary superpower is to shrink, while retaining the same strength that they possess at their regular size. Who they are. Ray Palmer is a physicist who, while studying the molecular density of the white dwarf star, gains the ability to reduce his molecular density. Ant-Man is originally Hank Pym, a troubled genius whose discovery of the Pym particles enables him to reduce his size or to expand it, and thus become giant men later on. Scott Lang would assume the role of Ant-Man. Both characters have emerged in pop culture in the past year, with former Superman actor Brandon Routh playing Ray Palmer on the show Arrow, while Paul Rudd suited up as Scott Lang in this summer's Ant-Man feature film. Who came first? The Atom.
Subscribe now.